How's everybody today? You asking questions or am I making statements?
Just, Coach, they'll fire away with questions. Guys, go ahead.
Coach, do you have to talk to your players about getting prepared for this with pro coaches there?
No, I think the guys understand pretty much the routine. They've sort of grown up seeing these kind of days with this many people here, and I think they understand what they need to do to prepare for things like this and try to create as many opportunities as we can to get them exposure. The best thing for our program now is for every one of these guys to get drafted as high as they can, so we try to help them in every way that we can.
Quinnen was talking about, this time last year, he didn't even envision himself being in this position. Can you speak to the kind of his rise and how quickly it kind of developed?
Well, Quinnen was always very athletic and had really good quickness. I think he was sometimes a little undersized, and maybe that limited his role, but as he got bigger and stronger with that quickness, he became a dominant player, and always played with a great attitude, lots of tenacity, was a really, really hard worker, tried to do everything right, and was a smart player. So the combination of those things helped him rise very quickly.
What do you think Jonah's best trait is as a tackle?
Well, I think Jonah's, number one, very athletic. He's got really good feet, really, really smart in terms of understanding what to do, how to do it, why it's important to do it that way. So I think he'll be a fine player for a long time.
Nick, what do you think the younger players get from the current players on the team get from watching the pro day, also going to the junior pro day, and in some cases, I guess they have this NCAA symposium.
I don't know. We do a lot of the same stuff in the off-season program, so we kind of gear them up for what they need to do and what they need to develop to be able to do. I always caution our players that, there's two things. You can prepare for the combine or your vertical jumping and standing broad jump and all that, or you can prepare to be a good football player, which is what I think most people are looking for. So the training that we do with them, but for them to see this, they'll be more prepared for when their time comes.
Scouts and GMs say this is one of their favorite places to come, not just on pro day, but throughout the year, because the way you guys treat them. How much of that is because you've been on the other side of it?
Well, I talked to everybody today, and I certainly respect and appreciate what those guys have to do. I did it for 8 years, and but I think the big thing is what we try to do is, we've always had a significant number of juniors that have a business decision to make about whether they stay in school or come out. And my philosophy has always been I want it to be as open as possible and treat everybody as well as possible, because we need them to get their information for the player to make a good business decision, like where would you pick this guy? And that's been very, very helpful to a lot of our players. So that goes both ways. We need to be accommodating to them when they come here, and then they're very forthcoming with us when we need to get that information.
Coach, you has shed some light on you and Coach Belichick's conversations, X's and O's, program stuff, off the field.
Well, kind of everything, I mean, we're personal friends, so we talk about kids and grandkids, and we talk about personnel because they're interested in guys that they bring to their team, and then we're both kind of still very involved in the football part of what's going on, so we'll talk quite a bit about X's and O's, as you put it. So it's a wide range of things, but and then there's a little storytelling that goes with it too, because we go back a long ways, and we had lots of kind of experiences that we both kind of learned from.
An Alabama shirt, how'd you get that?
I didn't give it to him, but I'm glad he got it. I think he got it for practice yesterday because it was a little windy out there.
Nick, how do you kind of walk the fine line of being like promoting your players, but also having your relationships with these NFL guys? I mean, how do you deal with that?
Well, I don't think it's really hard. I mean, I think it's an advantage for our players that we have good relationships with the NFL and the NFL people, because ultimately I think most everyone on our team would like to have the opportunity to be able to play in the NFL someday. I get a little bit concerned about how we've sort of gone overboard on this whole who's coming out for the draft. I don't know exact number, but somewhere around 140 guys coming out for the draft. It has not worked out well for about 50% of the juniors that have decided to come out early in the last 5 years or so. I think there's like 380 guys, like 24% of them didn't even get drafted. Another 25% of those that did get an opportunity didn't make a team past 3 years. So those players need to understand that they're better off developing in college because it's very difficult for down the line guys to get developed, in the NFL because they don't have a way to do that. So, it's a little bit concerning to me that that number has gotten so high. There can't be enough opportunity for all those guys.
How do you help a junior decide on that?
Excuse me?
How do you help a junior decide on that, whether